My name is Scotty, and I am the Original Binger. A lot of shit went down this week, and I'm here to talk about what the fuck just happened on Season 7, Episode 2 of Game of Thrones, entitled Stormborn. Warning, I'm going to be talking a lot about everything that happened in this episode, so there are spoilers coming up. Let's get started. Just a reminder, I do this every week, these Game of Thrones recaps, plus I do other TV reviews, so if those are things you might be interested in, please consider subscribing. Okay, let's get going with this episode. This episode starts out in Dragonstone, and Dany is very impatient about getting started with her conquest of... That's not quite right, is it? There we go. Dany's very impatient about getting started with her conquest of Westeros. She says, look, I got the Dothraki, I've got the Unsullied, I've got 3 dragons, I got the naval fleet, I got, allies here in Westeros. Why can't I just walk into King's Landing and lay waste to it and take it over? And Tyrion reminds her, hey, look, you didn't come here to be Queen of the Ashes. And so that seems to appease her for the moment. But it's at that point she turns on Varys, and she calls him out for all the kings he served and then betrayed. But Varys tells her, said, look, I was never here to serve the kings. I was here for the people. And when those kings failed to serve the people in the way they should, I took it upon myself to find somebody better. And he said, and all the people I've been, of all the people I've looked for over time, I now choose you. You seem to be this person I've been looking for. And she likes that. She seems to like that answer. At which point Daenerys says,
You choose me?
So then Dany says, all right, that's cool. But if at any time you feel I'm not doing my job for these people, you tell me. Don't stab me in the back. And she tells him that if he ever does try and stab her in the back, she's going to burn his ass alive. Right after that, Grey Worm tells her they have a visitor. So they all go downstairs to see who the visitor is. Turns out it's Melisandre. She's there to tell him that she's looking for the prince who was promised. She says it in Ovalarian, and then Missandei corrects the translation from the prince that was promised to the prince or princess who was promised, because apparently that noun has no gender in Ovalarian. The Red Woman also says, hey look, there's this dude up north, Jon Snow. He has a big part to play in all this too. You guys should get together. And when Tyrion hears Jon Snow's name, he's like, yeah, I know that dude. He's pretty cool. You should give him a call. And then Daenerys is like, all right, go ahead and do that. But you let him know, I don't care if he's king of the north or not, he's got to come here and bend the knee. After that, Dany gathers up all her top people, and they have a war council, and they start to discuss what they're going to do and how they're going to conquer Westeros. Yara and Ilaria want to do what Dany was saying earlier, take the dragons, the armies, and the fleet, and just lay waste to the Red Keep. But then Dany says, hey, look, man, I'm not here to be Queen of the Ashes, to which Tyrion goes... It's after that that Tyrion begins to lay out his plan for how to conquer Westeros without killing hundreds of thousands of people. And when Dany says, yeah, this is how we're going to do it, the rest of them fall in line right away. Now, part of Tyrion's plan is to send the Unsullied to take out Castle Rock, which means that Grey Worm is going to have to leave. And so, after the meeting, Missandei shows up at Grey Worm's room and saying, look, man, were you going to just leave without saying goodbye? And Grey Worm begins to tell her how she's his weakness, that he was never the biggest or strongest in the Unsullied army, but how he became leader was he was the bravest. Nothing ever scared him. But she scares him. And he ends up grabbing her and kissing her, at which point she starts to take off her... We should just move on. Next, we go to Winterfell. In Winterfell, we see Jon, Davos, and Sansa having a little meeting. They just got the raven from Tyrion saying, hey, this new queen, she wants you to come down here and talk to her. And Sansa's like, how do we know this is really from Tyrion? To which Jon says, read that last line. And that last line was a line that Tyrion had said to Jon when they first met. Now Davos is looking at this letter and goes, hey, it says here they got 3 dragons, and since fire kills White Walkers, we could probably use those dragons. And Jon and Sansa's like, yeah, that's probably true, but I still don't think we should go because of what the Targaryens did to, our grandfather and our uncle. And so at that point, they all decide together as a group they're not going to go, which is it shows progress from the last episode when Jon was just springing stuff on people in meetings without telling them his plan ahead of time. After that, we find Jon alone in the map room, and the new Maester walks in and says, hey, you got a new letter here from the Citadel. And Jon takes the letter, and of course it's from Sam. Now, I don't understand how the raven that Sam sent last episode got there before the raven that Tyrion sent this episode, but I'm not going to get into that. This raven, of course, is telling Jon, there's a shit ton of dragon glass on Dragonstone. You got to get there and start mining this crap. So Jon calls another meeting of all the houses of the North. Now, remember earlier when I said they made progress? Jon throws all that shit out right here. Tells all the people in the meeting, look, I got this letter from Tyrion, who is now hand of the Queen, Daenerys Targaryen, and I got this letter from my good buddy, Sam, who is at the Citadel. And it turns out I need to go to Dragonstone. To which all his people are like, whoa, 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 that's a stupid idea. Even Lyanna Mormont stands up and goes, look, man, you need to stay here. We made you our king, and right now we need you here with us. And then Jon goes, look, man, I didn't want to be king, but y'all got together and said, hey, we want you to be king. So if that's how it's going to be, I got to do it the way I got to do it. And my gut's telling me I need to go to Dragonstone and get this dragon glass and make friends with this queen so we can get these dragons to fight these White Walkers. Sansa jumps up and goes, well, wait a minute, who's going to be here? Who's going to take care of the North while you're gone? And he's like, well, you're the only Stark left here, so it's going to be you who's in charge while I'm gone. To which Sansa goes, oh. So once again, we got Sansa jumping up in the middle of the meeting, contradicting Jon, and Jon having to shoot her down. Would it have been so hard after he got that note from Sam to call her and Davos in and have another discussion to let her know his plan before he went into the meeting? What the fuck is wrong with these people? So before Jon goes, he wants to go down in the crypts to visit his dad's tomb. And while he's down there, Littlefinger comes slithering up. And I don't know what his plan was there. Apparently he's going to try and get on Jon's good side here. And, well, obviously that wasn't the case because while he's down there, he brings up the fact that Cat never liked Jon, which doesn't seem to be the way to get on somebody's good side. So he's probably trying just to get under Jon's skin, which Jon just brushes that off. But what gets Jon is when Littlefinger tells him that he loves Sansa, at which point Jon grabs Littlefinger by the throat and tells him to stay the fuck away from his little sister. When Ned grabbed Littlefinger by the throat in Season 1, Littlefinger kind of laughed it off like he was expecting it. This time, it really seemed to catch him off guard, and this is the first time I ever think I saw Littlefinger caught off guard. And I kind of enjoyed it. As far as Littlefinger loving Sansa, that's a lot of bullshit. That's right, Sue. I said that's bullshit. He does not love Sansa. Doesn't love her at all. Didn't love Cat. He's a sociopath. He loves what being with them would get him. That's all he loves. Meanwhile, over in King's Landing, Cersei's throwing a rally trying to get more of the houses of Westeros behind her. And her and Jaime are using their best Donald Trump tactics, xenophobia, racism, and fear to get everybody on board with aligning against the Targaryen. And most of the houses are like, yeah, I'm cool with the xenophobia, the racism, and the fear, but how the hell do we fight dragons? At which point Qyburn's like, I got this. After that, we see Qyburn and Cersei in the basement where Qyburn unveils his plan to take out a dragon, which is apparently a giant crossbow. Now, from the demonstration, if they can get the dragon to stand perfectly still, this is going to be a pretty good weapon. I just don't understand how they're actually going to get that dragon to stand still. Over at the Citadel in Old Town, Jorah's not looking too good. And he's at a doctor's appointment with Sam the Archmaester, and the Archmaester says, you're fucked. And Sam was like, well, wait a minute. I met this little girl once who had this disease, and they were able to cure her. I mean, sure, her face was a little fucked up, but other than that, she was pretty good. And the Archmaester's like, look, man, it's a big difference between a baby and a grown man, especially when it's gone this far. Later on, Sam the Archmaester in the library collecting books, because apparently the Archmaester is writing a book and he needs to do some research. And Sam's like, besides meeting that little girl, I also read in this book that I stole about a cure. That there have been 2 people with advanced cases of this that have been cured. And the Archmaester's like, yeah, you know what happened to the guy that cured him? Yeah, he died of dragon scale. At which point Sam pretty much figures out this guy don't give a shit. He just wants to write his book and forget about everything else. So next we see Jorah sitting in his cell, writing a letter to the Khaleesi, obviously telling her that he's failed in his mission to find a cure. Sam comes bursting in with a tray of medical utensils and some kind of like gray-looking salve, I guess he's planning on using. And he tells Jorah, look, I knew your dad, Lord Commander Mormont. He was a good man, so I'm not going to let you die today. But he says, what I'm about to do is going to hurt like a bitch, and I need you not to scream. At which point, he starts taking these medical utensils and peeling the top layer of skin off of Jorah. This looks really painful. Let's move on. Over at everybody's favorite inn, which apparently is somewhere between Winterfell and King's Landing, Arya has a reunion with Hot Pie. I was really excited to see Hot Pie. We haven't seen him in a couple years now. He sits down with a tray of food that I assume he was taking out to somebody, but Arya decides she's going to go ahead and eat it. And when he asks her where she's going, she tells him King's Landing, and he's like, well, I thought you'd be headed back to Winterfell. And she's like, nah, man, those Bolton guys are up there. And he's like, no, Bolton's got killed. Your brother won the Battle of Bastards. And Arya's like, no shit, I gotta go. Gets up and takes off. So outside we see her turn towards the north. So apparently she's decided not to head to King's Landing. She's gonna head to Winterfell. Now we come to the final scene, the main scene of this entire episode. Part of Tyrion's plan for the conquest of Westeros was for Yara to take Ellaria and the Sand Snakes back to Dorne, pick up their army, take them to King's Landing, and lay siege to King's Landing. The scene starts out with the Sand Snakes, Tyene, Obara, and Nymeria arguing over who they're going to get to kill when they get to King's Landing. They make a big deal here of letting you know that Tyene is Ellaria's daughter and the other 2 are not. So obviously this is going to be important at some point. Next we see Ellaria, Yara, and Theon. And Yara and Ellaria are flirting, and this kind of bothers Theon because, he can't flirt. Well, I guess he can flirt, but, that's about as far as it can go. Right when it looks like Yara's going to score with Ellaria, there's a big explosion. Yara and Theon run up the stairs to the top of the ship. I don't know ship terms. And they see they're being attacked by their uncle Euron. Euron's ship plows into the side of Yara's ship, and this huge, kind of looks like a dragon head comes down, but it's probably some kind of kraken thing. And it looks cool as hell. And when it hits, you see it's like a bridge between the 2 ships, and here comes Euron, looking fucking insane, boarding Yara's ship. And he just starts killing people. Tons more of Euron's people come running over, and a huge battle breaks out. Cuts out to a wide shot, and you see the Yara's entire fleet is burning. So things aren't looking good for Yara and Theon right now. The Sand Snakes come running out to join the battle. Yara tells Tyene, go protect your mother. Tyene runs down the stairs to do just that. The other 2 Sand Snakes, Nymeria and Obara, go after Euron. And this bad motherfucker takes them both out. After that, we see a bunch of Euron's men go down to where Ellaria and Tyene are, and Tyene takes a couple of them out, but eventually they get captured. And Ellaria's like, go ahead and kill us, and Euron's guy is like, nah, we're not going to do that. And they take him prisoner. After that, Yara's looking around at all the destruction on her ship and gets really pissed. She takes a jump off the top part of the ship onto her uncle, and they start fighting. It's a pretty good fight, but Yara's just too much of a badass for Yara, and he ends up capturing her. He's got her by the neck. He's got his giant badass looking sword right at her throat, and he calls to Theon. He's like, "Hey Theon, I got your sister. Why don't you come over here and try and save her?" To which Theon's like, "I'm gonna become Reek again and jump over the ship." And that's what he does. He jumps into the water. So at this point, it seems that Euron has Ilaria, Tyene, and Yara prisoner that he's going to be taking back as his gift to Cersei. The last scene is Theon in the water, holding on to apparently a plank or something, watching Euron's ship sail away. Now, I don't know if he plans on, getting up on that wood and water skiing behind the ship, or he's going to wait around for someone to come pick him up. Now, I thought, we still don't know where Gendry's rowing to, so maybe Gendry's going to row by and pick him up. I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait till next week to find out. So, when the episode started out, it looked like it was going to be smooth sailing for Dany and her people. And now, we see a major portion of her plan laid to waste. So, what happens next for her, I don't know. We do see in the trailer for next week that the Unsullied do attack Castle Rock. Hopefully that's going to go better than this did. I'll let you know on next week's What the Fuck Just Happened on Game of Thrones. My favorite scene this episode was probably, well, if I'm being honest, it was probably the Missandei nude scene. What was your favorite scene this episode? Let me know in the comments. Also, once again, I'm going to be doing this every week, and I do other TV reviews. If that's something you're interested in, I would much appreciate you subscribing to my channel. Also, if you like this video, I would appreciate a thumbs up. As always, thanks for watching.